Cardozo not starting the second straight game that she is not playing for the Gamecocks, getting rest and much needed as the...
they're an intangible type of team, so, despite them winning by 62 points handily, Watkins gets to work early going.
And Raven Johnson up the court. Johnson, te-hina Powell along with Watkins, Chloe Kitts, and Bree Hall as a three-pointer is made by Raven Johnson. The regular season title, and for Dawn Staley, it's just what you've come to expect, what she expects to see out of her players, along with great assisting right there. It's Watkins to Kitts. There's a luxury on that bench for South Carolina when so many different players you can plug and play.
And we talked to head coach Kyra Elsie as Matt here gets Wildcats on the board. Terrific to have her back in the lineup. A lot of injuries for her this year. Nice cut again by Chloe Kitts.
She wants to return some of that magic, and maybe this Kentucky team can do some of that back in what they did in 2022 in that SEC Tournament Championship where they beat South Carolina. Raven Johnson, who knocked down that three. We talked about the improved three-point shooting, and Chloe Kitts right now inside having her way in the paint, and that's where you can pick up a whole lot of points in South Carolina's offense.
te-hina Powell using that principle of verticality rule, meaning you can jump, and you're gonna hit body to body inside that circle, no foul.
Great dish from Johnson to Ashlyn Watkins, finishing off the play. She'll go to the line.
Terrific defense without fouling. That's textbook. And then head up. Great job, not only on the pass.
Save some of that magic. She called John Calipari and said, hey, do you have some of that magic you can hand over from the three-point line?
There it is. There's some magic.
There's some magic along the baseline for Sanaya Tyler.
Good take. Here's the early request from Coach Elsie. Drive early or late, just try to create an attack always. Good hesitation.
South Carolina, #1 team in the country, who has just been on a tear this season. In the corner to Tessa Johnson, and Johnson knocks down the triple.
A nice soft splash. Great rotation. Yeah, any player that can hit that shot from the corner, as Maddie Shear hits a tough shot running out of bounds. There's that mid-range I'm talking about. All of that, I mean, that was just a tip of the fingertips.
Tyler decided to take down the baseline jumper, and that one was true. At shoot-around, hey, what do you want to see at this time of year? I want to make sure that we're seeing a mental toughness from our group, as Chloe Kitts with the nice make and a tough make. Regular season championship, hey, look, we've got to continue to be dialed in.
Mentally stronger, that was the message. It's the young team. She said we've got to get tighter, and they've got to get tighter with what they're doing.
Yeah, you see her on film, but when you see her up close and personal, she's shredded. The shot goes down for Maddie Shear. As Zakima Walker in the ball game, as Johnson puts it up and gets it to roll around. I feel like is the most improved in Asia Petty, just the way that she's approached everything. That one's stolen away, and Malaysia Fulwiley on the break and the finish. Malaysia Fulwiley. And Raven Johnson pushing the issue inside to Zakima Walker, and stolen away by Emma King. And King finds Tyler. Nice bounce pass to Asia Petty. Great court vision from Sanaya Tyler.
South Carolina, as dominating as this game's been, is still well within reach for Kentucky to make a comeback.
And Fulwiley. Hall, we haven't talked about much. The junior who you mentioned waited her turn. And I go back to that game against LSU where she helped to engineer that comeback, as that's a nice pull-up jumper in the mid-range.
The fact that her mother stepped in and called Coach Staley just to have that conversation of, hey, my daughter, she could use some extra help, some love, some confidence. And
Anaya Russell certainly has the confidence to try to knock down the shot. Looking to her left and right, sees Raven Johnson, and a trailing Sanaya Fagan pulls up at the free throw line effortlessly and easily knocks it down.
We talked about this yesterday. You and I were there for a good rivalry game with Middle Tennessee State at Western Kentucky. And the fact that, look at the postseason, and we're hearing the Big Ten is sold out as Petty gets a great move. Petty off the catch. She really can get low. She's so strong. That's where her strength and getting those extra work.
Shear looking for Petty again, trying to work on Walker and Fagan. A couple of bodies. The help defense didn't matter as Asia Petty muscles it up.
Later in her season, she'll be so proud of the work that she put in to have those nights and days where she can just make those kind of scores.
Great pass from Sanaya Fagan, and We talked about Full Wiley having a great lift off the bench. Bree Hall knocks that one down. The three-point ball from Bree Hall. It's clearing it out. We talked about how she's grown offensively. And Ashlyn Watkins, the way she has stepped up. Remember, she had that first start of her career. We saw them hold Kentucky to single digits in that opening quarter with just 8 points. As Cassidy Rowe sees that one roll around from three.
And the Wildcats so focused as Romas gets a steal. Okay.
She appears to have injured herself. She's grabbing that right knee. And Petty asking for it, or Shear asking for it, Petty says, I'll keep it myself. Pow, who just knocked down the three, goes back to back. te-hina Pow. Last year, she called this a revenge season, and she has certainly come on strong for sure. Just all areas of her game, yes. A great three-point shooter, and te-hina Pow says, look, I don't want one, I don't want two, but I want three in a row. Sanaya Tyler answering back the other way for Kentucky. Third straight after that win over Alabama Thursday. Inside to Watkins. You talk about, yes, she's usually responsible for about 20 points a game by scoring and assisting. Chloe Kitts with the block, pushing the break the other way. And Raven Johnson soaring in.
Pow's ability to create offense. 20 points between scoring and assisting. And she makes the easy, good read and play, as does Sanaya Tyler right there for Kentucky. Who's had a nice afternoon.
Tyler with 12 points, a dozen leads the Wildcat scores. And again, Kitts this time finding so balanced and so even for South Carolina.
Well, there's 5 players with 3 or more assists today for the Gamecocks.
Inadvertent steal for te-hina Pow. Just had her hand out, knocked it down. Russell with traffic underneath the basket. Flawless execution in transition for South Carolina.
Starting on the defensive end, right?
Anaya Russell going in. Watkins tried to challenge, but rolls down for Russell.
Let me help you out a little bit through this. It's a great mentor to have.
Fagan on the make and on the inbound. And Petty is able to swat it into a steal.
There's that
spin move. Patent by Petty. Brooklyn Miles flings it over to Tyler. Quick shot along. 15-footer falls for Sanaya Tyler. And coming away with the steal. And Kentucky looking to convert it into points. Shear, who's back on the court and looking healthy.
I wanted Shear to shoot that shot from the start. There's the pass out to Shear, the good spacing. She was trying to force it inside, trying to find Petty before.
When they faced off against Georgia, what all kicked it off was South Carolina LSU.
Yes. Yeah. John Staley built that culture and the fans, right? The fan following there in Columbia. And you see it being replicated throughout other schools, and the more disciplined and the better approach is what they're doing now is really trying to stay in, work that offense, and not get out of who they are.
Sanaya Fagan with the make, and Fagan is just one of those nice consistent pieces to South Carolina as it's stolen away by Tessa Johnson, and the layup on the other end. Coming up with the rebound. There's Full Wiley changing gears, finding Kitts, who finds Fagan and in.
Good passing. That high-low action, so hard to stop when you have a good post player with guard skill.
And Petty wins it inside with that spin move and finish with the left. Miles with the nice take, and Brooklyn Miles going right to the hoop. inside, and Sakima Walker with the bucket.
Places where the bench that runs so deep, players who are getting 10, 15 minutes a game, they could be starting at other places, get 15, 20 shots a game. But just speaks to the efficiency the South Carolina team.
10 blocks this afternoon for South Carolina. They lead the nation in doing so. And then Walker sees that one roll off. Fagan is right there and rims it in. Loses handle of the basketball momentarily, gets it back. And the matchup, mismatch inside with Kitts over Cassidy Rowe, and Kitts wins that. The rebound from Kitts. Kitts, who has a double-double on the day tonight. Fagan finds Bree Hall, who rims it in. Kissed off the backboard. The coaching staff earlier from South Carolina, hey, they were up watching South Carolina compete as Fagan makes the shot.
Hear the story just of how demonstrative she became. I would love to see that. You'd love to see like athletes cheer for other athletes, right? As Kentucky gets a score there from Janae Walker, the freshman. It's good to have a little fire. Even this late in the game, you want to make sure you have that and be able to talk through it. Breezy Hall knocks down the three.
With a few blocks, also put up 13 points in the process, but they've got to get it up before the end, and Kentucky is not able to do so as this game comes to a close.